Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 296 based on novel. So let's start. As Xiao Yang and the two rushed to a certain place in the demon suppression prison, there were also touching scenes happening here. Sister Fea, now we are besieged by many of their powerhouses. If this continues, I'm afraid there is no way. Behind a hidden stone under a dark rainforest, several Dongju powerhouses emerged here. These powerhouses are mainly Duchfe, Mu Ji, the Yu family sisters, and Liu Qingyunqi, but at this time, all of them have scars of varying degrees on their bodies. Obviously they were plotted against. After these people just entered the demon suppression prison, they were separated from Xiao Yang and the others. Later, when they found some valuable evil things and wanted to kill them in exchange for points, they were chased by Shiyun Pavilion. And this Shiyun Pavilion seems to have joined forces with other forces, aggressively attacking several of them along the way, but did not kill, as if waiting for something. It can't go on like this. I'll stop them in a while, you all act according to chance. As long as we leave their siege, we will be fine. At that time, Duo Chi-Fei Liumai stood up slowly, and then said, she knew that at this time, only herself could lead by example. Otherwise, their situation would be even more miserable. No, Sister Mayfair, you can't go out. Behind these guys in Shiyun Pavilion, there should be other powerhouses hiding in the dark, and I deduce that the reason why they haven't hit a killer all the time seems to be waiting for something. Liu Qing looked at everyone's puzzled eyes and analyzed it immediately. Liu Qing has a lot of things hidden in her body, but she didn't want to expose it too early, so she also fell into this situation. What are you waiting for? The sisters of the Yu family also shook their heads slowly when they heard the words. Wait for Xiao Yang. The next moment, Yun Qi said in surprise, obviously everyone knew what happened with Mu Shi on the spaceship before. I'm afraid this is the only possibility. Mu Ji heard the words and got up slowly, but this guy's injuries were extremely serious. Obviously, he was beaten a lot to cover the retreat of the girls along the way. Xiao Yang, you don't want to be tricked. When the other girls heard the words, they also prayed slowly in their hearts, and then tried their best to recover their fighting spirit, preparing to fight Shiyun Pavilion for life and death. In another place, outside the rainforest, several figures slowly hide here. Mushi, what are you doing? The few guys on the eastern continent are no different from the chips in our hands now, why not kill them all in one go? And these people are probably the strongest people above eastern continent. That hydrating figure and figure, TSK TSK TSK. If you can defeat and conquer them, then Dongzhou's face will probably no longer exist. One of the men's eyes showed some nasty expressions, and he smiled grimly. Hey, I'm not interested in these girls. Just use them as bait to lure out Xiao Yang, and we will join forces to arrest Xiao Yang. After this is done, they will all belong to you. Mu Shi watched everyone's every move through the rainforest, laughed. Since that's the case, then I wish us a happy cooperation in advance. The expressions of the two men became strange, and obviously they laughed when they thought that the watery women above Dongju were like playthings in their hands. Stand up. The two sides were quiet for a while. This Xiao Yang hasn't shown up for a long time, it seems to be a bit ruthless. After a few quarters of an hour, and seeing that there was no breath around him, Mu Shi said immediately. Then let them suffer a little bit of flesh and blood, but it's a bit unbearable to destroy the flowers. As soon as the words fell, the three figures slowly disappeared, and immediately they were hidden from the Dongju powerhouse. Go! They're here, be careful. In an instant, Yun Chijiao, who was behind the rock, groaned, his voice full of urgency. Of the six of them, apart from Mu Ji, the strength of one person has reached the middle stage of the three-star fighting immortal, and the others are only at the initial stage of the three-star fighting fairy. A tougher guy. It seems that Xiao Yang doesn't care about your life or death. In the end, it's just a guy who is greedy for life and fear of death. I really overestimated it before. The three of Mu Shi slowly came to the back of the rock, and suddenly Mu Shi sneered. So strong. Liu Qing's beautiful eyes slowly wrinkled. Obviously, Mu Shi's strength was originally in the middle stage of the three-star Dozian, but now it has reached the late stage of the three-star Dozian, in addition to the two guys next to Mu Shi who were bathed in black robes and couldn't see their faces clearly. The three-star fighting immortal late-stage powerhouses, such a tyrannical lineup, in the demon suppression prison, I am afraid they can also walk sideways. I'll stop them, you all go. In an instant, Mu Ji forcibly supported the serious injuries in his body, and suddenly stood up, a dazzling fighting spirit emerged. You bastard, you haven't suffered enough. Just let me play with you. One of the black-robed figures walked directly towards the pastoral song and immediately isolated him. Now, I see what else you can do. Since Xiao Yang is just a coward, then you all die. Remember, your downfall is because of Xiao Yang's greed for life and fear of death. In an instant, Mu Shi seemed to be crazy, his pupils shrank tightly, and then roared hideously. Did this guy take the wrong medicine? Why is his breath not right? Another man in black robe shook his head. Do it. In an instant, the two daughters Liu Qing and Duchfe looked at each other and nodded, and the dazzling fighting spirit suddenly permeated. Light attribute grudge. Thunder attribute grudge. The girl with the thunder attribute is very powerful, I like it. The next moment, following Duchfe and Liu Qing's shots, the man in black robe laughed. Since your brother likes it, then let's do it with you. After Mu Shi finished speaking, he also slowly stepped aside to entangle Liu Qing, and then stared at the remaining three girls to prevent them from escaping. Thunder sound. Duchfe naturally wouldn't underestimate the enemy, and with a coquettish anger, the power of thunder emerged from his body, so he scattered in this space with bursts of Sanskrit sounds. Wherever Sanskrit went, countless evil auras suddenly retreated, and even when he approached the black-robed man, a tyrannical oppression swept out. It's a good thunder attribute vindictiveness, but unfortunately the gap between us is too big, and you have a lot of injuries on your body. It's over. The figure of the black-robed man slowly flew into the air, and an incomparably brilliant red flame spread out from the body in an instant, and then wrapped the whole body around, and suddenly formed a ferocious fire dragon with a size of 100 meters, with a tyrannical breath, trying to obliterate Duchfe. What's the power of Xiaotian? Duchfe saw this, biting his silver teeth, a hint of stubbornness flashed in his beautiful eyes, and then the power of thunder in his body suddenly soared a little, even a trace of it was hard to detect with the naked eye. The grey power of quietly poured into the silver thunder. Go to hell. The black-robed figure suddenly drank, and they were all those gorgeous fire dragons, like a bird frightened, ejected abruptly, with a fierce aura that destroyed everything, and suddenly attacked Duchfe. Sister Faya, go back. Too strong. When Liu Qing saw this, there was a hint of shock in his beautiful eyes, and shouted. It's too late. Duchfe looked at the three girls behind him. If he retreated, then this tyrannical attack would fall on them. The next moment, the Do core in the body suddenly shrank, and even a trace of grey thunder continued to appear between the eyebrows, and then smiled at everyone. Leave it to me. However, no one noticed. When the power of the grey thunder between the eyebrows was injected into Duchfe's body, Duchfe's expression was extremely painful, but it just disappeared in a flash. Wang buzzing. In an instant, in Duchfe's body, terrifying silver-grey thunders suddenly surged out. When the power of thunder was skyrocketing, countless evil black mists all over the body shook and fled, as if they were afraid of the fluctuation of the tyrannical power in the grey thunder. This kind of thunder power, but something is not right. Mu Shi on the side easily entangled Liu Qing. Watching the battle between Duchfe and the two, he spoke slowly, out of intuition and perception of danger. Duchfe, the power of thunder on his body made him feel uneasy, which made Mu Shi quite strange. After all, Duchfe was only in the early stage of the three-star fighting immortal at best, and even the power of the great heavenly seed was not enough to make him feel afraid. Pretend to be a ghost. When I arrest you, I must have you taste what it is like to live rather than die. Ha ha ha. Although the black-robed man also noticed the extremely mysterious grey thunderbolt on Duchfe's body, he didn't take it seriously. The ferocious fire dragon that controlled his body roared away at Duchfe. The huge gap between them cannot be filled by these things. Thunder. Thunder binding immortal lock. In an instant, a rare trace of paleness appeared on Duchfe's pretty face, and then her delicate body suddenly flew into the air, and the dazzling grey thunder and silver thunder were constantly intertwined, and finally formed a grey and silver in front of him. Thunder shackles made of thunder. Among the silver-grey thunder shackles, there are traces of shocking hidden lines. These lines are looming, but they have the terrifying power of imprisoning all things. The flaming dragon, give it to me. The black-robed man snorted coldly, and the flames around his body suddenly became more dazzling. With an order, the fiery dragon went out to sea like a dragon, with an unrivaled aura, and suddenly faced Duo Chi in the air. Fei left. Damn it. Seeing this, Mu Ji snorted coldly, trying to confront another person's block to meet Duchfe, but was entangled by him. Your opponent is me. The other man in black sneered, and immediately started fighting in Zaidu. Boom. The ferocious flame dragon's body was straight, and it drove straight from the ground to the sky, while Duchfe's pale face was controlling the silver-grey thunder shackles, and a trace of weakness appeared in the beautiful eyes, and the jade hand suddenly faced the ferocious fire dragon. A vicious squeeze. Crash. Duchfe gave the order, and immediately the silver-grey shackles seemed to have spirituality, and within a few breaths, the black-robed man's ferocious fire dragon was easily entangled completely, making him unable to move. Samsung Do Xian is really strong in the early stage. But don't underestimate me too much. I'm a disciple of the Western Continent Fire Lion Sec. Flame ripples. Burst me. The next moment, the man in black robe looked at the ferocious fire dragon that was entangled and fell into the wind, but a strange smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Damn, it's not good. Duchfe was already injured because he covered the retreat of the large army before, and now he is forcibly urging Samsara to attack the enemy. His face was pale and his breath was floating. When the voice of the man in black robe fell, the beautiful eyes shrank tightly, and a touch of danger poured into my heart. Little beauty, it's over. The man in black robe's maddening smile sounded like a demon, so the ferocious fire dragon wrapped in silver-grey thunder shackles suddenly swelled and then contracted. Crash. Pieces of hot flame ripples spread out from the sky abruptly, and Duchfe was very close to the center of the explosion. With this level of explosion fluctuations, I'm afraid I won't die, but also seriously injured. Sister Feiya. A few hurried voices suddenly came from all directions, so Liu Qing and Mu Ji's offensive became fierce, and even the sisters of Yun Qiu's family below had a big change in their breath and hurriedly shot. Next time, don't do such a dangerous thing. The next moment, the scorching fire dragon's body swelled, and the hot flame ripples just spread. At the same time, Duan Kefeu slowly stroked the hidden lines between his eyebrows, as if to release his power to solve the predicament, but was stopped by a huge palm. Chiche's novels are first published on the whole network. In this situation, there must be someone to stand up. Duchfe felt the familiar aura, and immediately stopped the practice of releasing the power of reincarnation, but at this time, his aura was weak, and he was falling in free fall. After a while, he was caught by a strong arm and hugged into his arms, and his beautiful eyes closed slightly, and Bei's lips slowly opened his mouth and said, with a warm heart in his heart, "With me here, use that thing sparingly." The mysterious figure hugging Duchfe passed through his body, and a trace of gentle power continued to pour into Duchfe's body. At that time, he opened his mouth slowly, and there was a hint in his voice. "Shares of unquestionable majesty. En." Duchfe nodded slowly when he heard the words. For some reason, with this guy's existence, everything around him seemed to be quiet. "Go on, these guys, I will let them go back and forth." After a few breaths, the two suddenly came to the ground, and the mysterious figure slowly put Duchfe down. They are very strong, in the late stage of Samsung Do Xian. And it's from the Fire Lion sect on the Western continent. Duchfe's weak condition recovered a lot, and he was immediately vigilant. "Don't worry, the people who beat us in Dongju, let alone the late Samsung fighting immortals, even the guys above Beiju can't run away." Suddenly, a figure with a heavy ruler on his back, accompanied by a burst of arrogant voice, suddenly appeared in the sight of everyone. "Xiao Yang. You are finally here." The next moment, Mu Shi, who was entangled with Liu Qing, saw this, but his eyes became hideous. If Xiao Yang hadn't snatched the combination of human and ghost from himself, how could he be blamed by the strong in the pavilion? Now that he is carrying the treasure of the pavilion, this Xiao Yang has no objection and cannot escape. Xiao Yang. Seeing this, everyone below Liu Qing also left their opponents and gathered. "Just look at it, don't do it. Xiao Gui, you are responsible for vigilance." Xiao Yang casually glanced at him, and found that the three people in front of him were all three-star fighting immortal late-stage strengths, but he smiled slowly. Xiao Gui heard the words and nodded slowly, but everyone didn't know when this Xiao Gui appeared behind them unknowingly. "You brazen boy, be careful of capsize in the gutter." The two figures in black robes stopped attacking at the same time, came to Mushi's side, and snorted coldly. "The two of you go first, and I'll warn you against other powerhouses." The next moment, Mushi smiled gloomily. "Mushi, don't forget the reward you promised us." The two figures in black robes didn't think much and laughed. "Don't worry, after this is done, I won't be able to treat you badly." At the same time, Mushi also laughed. This Xiao Yang is by no means an ordinary person, but the two men in black robes are also strong in the Fire Lion sect. It is also very good for them to spend some time on Xiao Yang's strength. Mushi felt more or less worthless. "Let's go together, otherwise don't say I won't give you a chance." Xiao Yang took a few steps forward and said very plainly. Although Xiao Yang knew that the strength of these two guys in the late stage of the 3-star fighting immortals must have some background, but Xiao Yang really wanted to try. Where is his current limit? You are the rumored Xiao Yang on Dongju? The strength is mediocre, but the tone is not small. Let us come to meet you today and let you know what it is that there are people outside people, there are days outside the sky. Suddenly, the two men in black robes sneered. Brother, give me defense, let me come. The next moment, the figure of the two men in black robes who had just attacked Duchfe said. The two black-robed people are the first of the Fire Lion sect in Shizhou. The older black-robed person is named Huili, who is strict and stable in nature, while the younger one is called Huiyu, who has a violent temper, but both are 3-star fighting. In the late immortal stage, it was the guy who just attacked Duchfe. Crash. The black robes on the two disappeared instantly, revealing their original appearance. The eldest disciple Huili had scars on his face that were quite conspicuous, and he had obviously gone through a lot of fighting. On the second disciple Huiyu, the rather thin face stared at Xiao Yang with a trace of resentment. If it weren't for Xiao Yang, just now he managed to forge Duchfe by himself. Fire attribute. Throwing into the net. Watching the two move, Xiao Yang didn't do anything, but in an instant, before the two made their move, the dazzling soul power had spread all over the space, so the two of them attacked. As soon as he shot, he was pierced by Xiao Yang at a glance. Incompetent rat, pick me up. In an instant, the two of them, with their second disciple Huiyu as the main attack, shouted loudly. Let the horses come here. Xiao Yang's mouth curled into a smile, and his whole body became vigilant, because the strength of the early Samsung Dozian and the late Samsung Dozian were quite different, but let the gap be large, in Xiao Yang's origins. Under the fire attribute, it is also pulled a lot closer. Fire Lion's palm. Huiyu's palm flashed with an unusually tyrannical flame fighting spirit, and then her figure burst out, suddenly facing Xiao Yang's palm. Xiao Yang and Huiyu looked like a simple palm, but after touching each other, both of them were shocked. The fire attribute energy on this Xiao Yang's body is very strong. I am afraid that he is a guy with a heavenly seed. It seems that he cannot underestimate the enemy. With a palm back, Huiyu suddenly couldn't help muttering to himself in his heart. This Huili doesn't seem to be ready to take action. It seems that he is deliberately letting Huiyu take action. Do you want to experience him? However, the strength of this guy in the late stage of the 3-star fighting immortal is really not to be underestimated. We can only make a quick decision, otherwise it will only be detrimental to me. Xiao Yang made up his mind, and immediately made a plan to try to end the battle quickly. Pick me up. Fire Lion's roar. After a short pause, the flames on Huiyu's body instantly gathered at his throat, and then his eyes became strange, and circles of hot waves of fire continued to emanate from his title, trying to bring Xiao Yang to his mouth. Locked up. What is this? Is it a sonic attack? Xiao Yang was a little surprised, but he didn't dare to underestimate the just palm-to-hand contact, so the dazzling flames also permeated from the body, but this attack against Huiyu was still the same. Extremely curious. Suddenly, Huiyu took a deep breath, and then countless flames melted into the throat in an instant, as if some tyrannical attack was brewing. This guy, what is he doing? Xiao Yang didn't act rashly, his eyes and soul power became vigilant at the same time. If anything was wrong, he would immediately take action. Boom. After a while, a deafening roar suddenly emerged from Huiyu's mouth. Along with such a terrifying sonic attack, the invisible sonic ripples even contained bursts of incomparably hot flames. The combination of sonic power and flame power. This Fire Lion sect seems to have some ways. Xiao Yang looked at the Fire Lion roar, which combined sonic attack and flame power, and immediately laughed. On top of the energy, the violent sound waves and the power of flames made Xiao Yang feel a creepy aura. Huang Quan Tianwu. At that time, Xiao Yang didn't hold back at all, and the dazzling soul power all over his body gathered together, and a tyrannical soul attack suddenly attacked when Huiyu was unprepared. Huiyu, be careful. Huili has been guarding Huiyu since the beginning. Obviously he has no ulterior motive and did not rashly take action. It's too late. Naturally, Xiao Yang would not give the two of them a chance. The present said that although these two have studied the use of fire attribute fighting chi, their soul power is too weak, so they were easily attacked by Xiao Yang's soul. Hit. With a sound, the silent soul attack hit Huiyu accurately and immediately. Huiyu's pupils who were still using the Fire Lion roar to attack Xiao Yang shrank tightly, the sonic attack dissipated instantly, and then fell into a coma in an instant. In the past, he was obviously attacked by Xiao Yang's soul power to the source of his soul, and I am afraid that waking up in the future will also cause a lot of load. Little bastard, what did you do? Hua Li saw his junior brother being knocked unconscious by Xiao Yang's bizarre blow, and suddenly roared nervously. Originally, he just wanted Hua Yu's experience to kill Xiao Yang Dan. If Hua Yu were no match for him, he would have made a move, but he would have thought that Hua Yu would be knocked unconscious by Xiao Yang's blow, which Hua Li did not expect. This is too weak. Seeing this, Xiao Yang rolled his eyes helplessly and said with black lines. Up to now, Huang Chuantian's anger has rarely been used. After all, the level is too low, but Xiao Yang underestimated his soul. The strength of the power overestimated the soul power of the Fire Lion sect, Hua Yu, so a single strike of the soul attack directly knocked out the weaker Hua Yu. Little chops. You will pay for this act of yours. Take it. The next moment, Hua Li's pupils were filled with anger, and he stared at Xiao Yang intently. Finally ready, have you used all your strength? Seeing this, Xiao Yang suddenly became vigilant. I will let you know. The gap between the early Samsung Doxian and the late Samsung Doxian, and the gap between your eastern continent and our western continent is not something you can imagine. Hua Li's aura was rising steadily, and his dazzling fighting intent was undoubtedly on display in an instant. There's a lot of nonsense. Xiao Yang snorted coldly, not too lazy to talk nonsense with this guy. The might of the Fire Lion. At the next moment, Hua Li was no longer talking nonsense with Xiao Yang, and a dazzling flame suddenly filled his body. Then, under the dull eyes of everyone, he suddenly bit his finger, a drop of bright red blood, gently of drops on top of fiery red flames. This Fire Lion sect is a bit interesting. Although Xiao Yang's strength is weak, he is stronger than the fire attribute, but seeing Hua Li's methods, Xiao Yang couldn't help but laugh. Because for Xiao Yang, the more tyrannical his opponent is, the more he can hone himself. With my blood, call me the soul, ancient Fire Lion. With the dazzling flames of fighting spirit and blood around Hua Li suddenly made a strange gesture with both hands, his expression became extremely solemn, and a rare strange smile permeated out. These two guys from the Fire Lion sect are really trash. A guy in the early stage of the 3-star Battle of Immortals actually forced his sect suppression method. Not far away, Mu Shi watched Hua Yu lose in an instant. While Hua Li, who fell into madness, directly called out the ancient Fire Lion and couldn't help cursing. He could never have imagined that, regardless of Xiao Yang's mediocre strength, when he actually fought, Xiao Yang's true combat power was almost the same as or even stronger than the powerhouses in the late Sanqing Doxian. Xiao Yang, this guy is really a freak. This mere strength in the early stage of the 3-star Fighting Immortal can actually deal with 2 strong players in the late 3-star Fighting Immortal stage at the same time. It's really embarrassing. Mu Ji also looked at the tyrannical Xiao Yang and said shamelessly, this guy is really getting stronger and stronger. The matter of Shenyang, let's forget it. When the 4 continents competition is over, I should go back. Seeing this, Liu Qing's eyes flashed, and he shook his head. Little bastard, die. Hua Li's pupils not far away were red, and the flame-fighting chi around him slowly evolved into a ferocious flame giant lion after being injected with blood by himself. The giant flame lion is made up of flame energy, and the whole body is bathed in fiery red flames. A pair of blood-filled pupils slowly stares at Xiao Yang, so powerful that the evil aura around him is shunned. Is it an energy creature condensed from flame-fighting chi and blood? Seeing this, Xiao Yang finally had a dignified look in his pupils. Obviously, the fierce flame aura on this ancient fire lion, even Xiao Yang at this time, felt a burst of energy. Tricky. Ancient fire lion, kill him for me. The next moment, seeing the formation of the ancient fire lion, Hua Li burst out. The ancient fire lion seemed to be extremely spiritual, so ordered by Hua Li, he immediately lifted his head wrapped in fiery red flames and stared at Xiao Yang. What surprised Xiao Yang was that, being stared at so easily by this ancient fire lion, a chill came out of Xiao Yang's body. Crash. After a while, the ancient fire lion didn't pause at all, stepping on the endless void with his toes, and easily came to Xiao Yang's side. Bang bang bang. The ancient fire lion came to Xiao Yang's side, and suddenly raised its front paws, and slapped away at Xiao Yang's Tianlingari. What a tyrannical flame creature. Xiao Yang turned around and just avoided the claws of the ancient fire lion, but the void 1 meter away from Xiao Yang was suddenly smashed by the ancient fire lion. If such a tyrannical attack hit Xiao in that case, I'm afraid it won't be any better than this broken void. Wang buzzing. Seeing this, Xiao Yang shouldn't stay here for a long time. Immediately, the space shuttle handprint suddenly appeared, the space squirmed, and the next moment it appeared, it was 100 meters away. Little bastard, where are you running? Seeing Xiao Yang being chased away, Li couldn't help laughing. Boom. No matter how fast Xiao Yang ran, the ancient fire lion seemed to lock Xiao Yang's breath, and the next moment, the bright flame hair suddenly turned into a shooting star, blasting towards Xiao Yang. A flame creature. It seems that I can only use that thing. Xiao Yang muttered while running away, and all of a sudden, the aura and the power of the seal in his body continued to condense. Why does this guy keep running away? Li, don't give this kid a chance, this guy is tricky. At the next moment, Shi snorted at Li. Boy, it's over. Go to with remorse. After receiving Shi's voice, Li was not hesitant, and the dazzling fighting chi was injected into the ancient fire lion, and the breath of the ancient fire lion was suddenly surging. Almost. I'll give you a gift too. Spirit-devouring blood tablet, suppress me. Suddenly, Xiao Yang's mouth slowly laughed, and then a trace of blood-colored energy on the palm of his hand suddenly threw it towards the ancient fire lion's body. The blood-colored energy had just emerged, and it immediately brought bursts of extremely tyrannical imprisoning power. Even the evil aura of the entire space was suppressed a lot. Suddenly, the blood-colored energy turned into pieces with the power of strange seals under the gaze of everyone. The huge stone tablet, the tyrannical breath on the stone tablet, appeared suddenly as if falling from the sky, and immediately surrounded the ancient fire lions. Not good. Ancient fire lion, come out. Li's vision was extraordinary, and naturally he easily saw the extremely powerful sealing power on the stone tablets, and immediately shouted. He knew that Xiao Yang was using a seal fighting skill. If they were sealed by the sealing fighting skills, they would probably be stronger than the ancient fire lions, and they would also be sealed for a short time. At that time, they would probably not be Xiao Yang's opponents. Dozens of spirit-devouring blood steelies just appeared, and immediately surrounded the ancient fire lion. On the stone steely, a trace of imprisoned power and blood filled the air, so there was no waiting for the ancient fire lion to react, and completely blocked the retreat of the ancient fire lion. The ancient fire lion looked at the dozens of mysterious stone tablets around it, and a voice containing anger suddenly sounded. Hey! After a while, the ancient fire lion raised its front paws surrounded by flames, and attacked the stone steely. The seemingly tyrannical claw hit the stone tablet, but it did not bring any energy ripples. Even with the fall of the attack, the flame breath on the ancient fire lion suddenly dropped a lot, even its strength. They were instantly suppressed to the level of the middle stage of the 3-star fighting immortals, and they were still being suppressed. Asshole. I fought with you. In an instant, seeing Xiao Yang's actions, Li suddenly burst into flames and turned into a sharp flaming giant sword, blasting towards Xiao Yang. He knew that there was no more ancient fire lion. With the help of Xiao Yang alone, it is impossible to defeat Xiao Yang. Bang bang bang. Xiao Yang's eyes slowly closed, so dozens of stone tablets appeared around Li, completely imprisoning Li's figure. Damn! Seeing such a scene, Shi also snorted coldly, then before Xiao Yang could make a move, he immediately fled away. Suppress me. Seeing Shi fleeing instantly, Xiao Yang shook his head, so he suddenly squeezed his palm. At that time, the ancient fire lion was suppressed and disappeared, and Li's fierce aura was also extremely weak. Originally, Li's strength was extremely tyrannical, but after Yu was knocked out, he was swept away by anger, and he called out the ancient fire lion at a huge cost, so he wasted too much fighting chi, and now he was easily suppressed by Xiao Yang. This guy is really tyrannical. The 4 women and 1 man below looked at Xiao Yang, who had so easily defeated the 2 3-star fighting immortal late-stage powerhouses above the sky, and couldn't help but start to be surprised. Damn it! I never imagined that our 2 dignified, late-stage 3-star fighting immortals would actually be defeated by a hairy boy in the early 3-star fighting immortal stage. And that Shi is cunning, you shouldn't have listened to his slander in the first place, sigh. Feeling Shi's escape, Li was also looking at the unconscious Yu, at the huge stone tablet that bound him. A sense of frustration arises spontaneously. In any case, Li never thought that he would actually lose to Xiao Yang, so he said helplessly. Xiao Gui, clean up the magic stone in the hands of the 2 of them, and take the points. The next moment, Xiao Yang slowly landed with the 2 figures and said to Xiao Gui, there was no politeness in his words. Good. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Yang's magic suppressing stone appeared on Xiao Gui's body, so Xiao Gui took the magic suppressing stone and walked slowly towards Li. Damn, despicable villain. Seeing Xiao Gui's actions, Li scolded secretly immediately. Their points were obtained with great difficulty, and it was unexpected that Xiao Yang would be cheapened so easily. 700. 500. In an instant, when Xiao Gui scoured out the magic suppressing stones from Li and Huayo, he couldn't help but be startled. This guy has so many points. Looks like two rich guys. Get it for me. Xiao Yang coldly snorted and laughed. With the points of these two brothers, his own points have reached more than 1,000. As for the 10,000 points required for exchange, it is getting closer and closer. Damn. Seeing that Xiao Gui took away the points of the magic suppressing stone from the two with great ease, and the points of the magic suppressing stone were also returning to zero, Hua Li's expression suddenly became unbearable. Livid. Brother, now we have 1,500 points. After a while, Xiao Gui came to Xiao Yang and smiled. Xiao Yang nodded lightly. Are you all right? The next moment Xiao Yang also walked over to the girls and asked with concern. If you come a little later, I'm afraid something will happen. Mu Ji quipped. Don't talk nonsense, we're fine. It's you guys, is there nothing wrong? Duchfe glared at Mu Ji angrily and then asked with concern. Hey, we're fine, but we just entered the demon suppression prison and were separated. There's no way to do that. Xiao Yang grinned, but he noticed the different degrees of scars on everyone's body, and a killing intent emerged in his heart, no need to guess. I also know that the source of these scars is from these two Fire Lion sect guys. How to deal with these two? After a while, Xiao Yang asked Duchfe. The strong killing intent in his voice could not be concealed. Let them go. Duchfe looked at the two of them, her beautiful eyes flickering, and shook her head. Let go. Sister Faya, these two guys are the strength of the late Samsung fighting immortals. If you put them back like this, it is tantamount to letting the tigers go back to the mountains to raise the tigers. Yunqi couldn't help but persuaded them. Our Dongju has a good relationship with their Fire Lion sect, but unfortunately there are too many estrangements among their generation of disciples. Duo Chifei explained the reason. In my opinion, I can't let it go. However, it is possible to send the two of them out of the demon suppression prison. Xiao Yang nodded when he heard the words. After all, with Du Chifei's words, Xiao Yang did not want to obliterate the two of them, otherwise he would not have used the spirit-devouring blood tablet. Suppression is so simple, but it is about to happen. If the two powerhouses in the late stage of the three-star fighting immortals are allowed to go back to recover their injuries so easily, it will be a bit tricky. Don't kill us. Don't expel us. In exchange, I'll tell you a secret. In an instant, Hua Li, who was in a weak state, heard the words and couldn't help but fear. What secret? Let's hear it. Xiao Yang nodded and smiled when he heard the words. Xiao Yang knew that they were tyrannical and naturally knew many things that he did not know. The ruins of the Heavenly King's palace in the demon suppression prison are about to be born, and attacking you is all the idea of the damned Mu Shi. He promised us all kinds of benefits in order to capture Xiao Yang. If you let us go, we are willing to help you. Hua Li said sincerely. What is the relic of the Heavenly King's burial in your mouth? Xiao Yang's pupils shrank tightly and asked, obviously these words seemed to have magic power. The ruins of the Heavenly King's possession. It is a very mysterious place located in the depths of the demon suppression prison. It is said that in the ruins, there are countless gold and silver treasures, elixir and magic medicine. And the most important thing is that this Heavenly King Tibetan is powerful, and it is the only hero who resists the evil races outside the territory. So I once heard that there are many treasures in the ruins of the Tianwang Zhangzang, among which there is a mysterious fighting skill called the Seal of the Tianwang. Suddenly, before the fire left the mouth, Liu Qing said, Xiao Yang was very concerned about this. Liu Qing had known about it for a long time. Tianwang Zhangzang? The seal of the Heavenly King? Xiao Yang was shocked when he heard the words. Hey, little guy. Master, what exactly is this Heavenly King Tibetan? Xiao Yang hurriedly asked. Tianwang Zhangzang is a human being. However, his strength during his lifetime reached the ranks of the five-star fighting immortals, and he held the seal of the Heavenly King in his hand, making his overall strength even stronger. It is said that Tianwang Zhangzang once used the Tianwang seal in his hand to forcibly fought a six-star fighting immortal-level foreign evil clan powerhouse and became invincible. The Lord of Soul Eater laughed. Five-star fighting immortals fight against six-star aliens? Xiao Yang was shocked when he heard this. Don't be surprised, all this is due to the seal of the King of Heaven. The Lord of Soul Eater said. What is the seal of the Heavenly King? Xiao Yang asked in surprise. The seal of the Heavenly King is really a fighting skill, but this fighting skill is extremely mysterious. It is said that the seal can be cultivated by virtue of the mystery of the fighting skill, but it contains monstrous destructive power, as well as the ability to suppress it. Power. The Soul Eater said slowly. The power of destruction and suppression? Xiao Yang asked in surprise. The seal of the Heavenly King is just a piece of jade engraved with the seal, but it has endless mystery. If you can get this thing during this trip, I'm afraid it will be of great help for your trip to Li Soul Realm. The Lord of Soul Eater said suddenly and solemnly. It seems that the ruins of the Heavenly King's treasure must be gone. Xiao Yang nodded slowly, with a smile in his eyes. How? Looking at the moody Xiao Yang, Hu Li asked uncertainly. He is now extremely worried that Xiao Yang will kill them. At that time, I am afraid that the only way to fight is to fight to the death, and to show it as Xiao Yang just now. Even if he is as strong as the late Samsung Dozian, he is not too sure about his strength. Let's lead the way. I hope you don't play tricks, otherwise I can arrest you once, and I will definitely arrest you a second time. If there is another time, I'm afraid it will be a battle of arms. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, he waved his hand, and the sealed stone tablet on his body instantly dissipated. Let's sort it out, let's hurry up and head towards the ruins of Qianwangzangzang. After watching everyone say a word, everyone responded a little bit of grudge, so everyone set off towards the ruins of Qianwangzangzang. This video will end here.